Welcome to the Instep, the only Magic the Gathering news show that will not judge you for keeping a one-land opening hand. I do it all the time, I love it, it makes me feel magic alive. Until we get to our draw step and we don't hit our second land and we have to pass the turn to our opponent and they look at us like, I can't believe you've done this, I can't believe you kept a one-lander, and I'm just, our heart. Anyway, welcome to the Instep, hope you're excited. We have some fun stuff to talk about. We have Guilds of Ravnica kicking off at Grand Prix Montreal. We have a Star City Game team event to talk about. We have Magic Fest, which is pretty cool. I'm excited about that news. We have an Old School Commander, Speakeasy Commander card. A little Evil Dead talk since it is October. And last but not least, a handcrafted top 10. The most electrifying jazz hands. No, I'm kidding. The most electrifying cards in Magic the Gathering. So, let's have some fun, and welcome to the Instep. Let's put on our wizard hat as we wade out into the Twitch stream and we walk around whatever that Fortnite player is building as we scroll all the way down to Magic. Boom, there we go. Kicking off on the mothership page, the magic/twitch.tv/magic, it's going to be Grand Prix Montreal Guilds of Ravnica Limited. Day 1 is going to be sealed, day 2 is going to be draft, booster draft, and then top 8 will also be booster draft. So, if you're a fan of Magic packs being opened, this is the event for you. Now, I could not find a start time, but it should start around the normal time, looking about 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time on Saturday and Sunday. So tune in if you're a fan of Guilds of Ravnica and want to see some nice limited event. That will be on the main Magic Twitch page. Over on the Star City Game page, there's going to be a team event, Star City Game Columbus. I'm super excited about this. I love team events. If you've never seen a team event, there's 3 players on a team. One player is playing Standard, the other player is playing Modern, and then the other player is playing Legacy. The cool thing about these team events is that basically it's the best 2 out of 3 matches between the players. The Standard player has their hand, they can lean over and talk to the Modern player can go talk to the Legacy player. You really have this like wonderful team event that you normally don't get in Magic the Gathering, since it's always kind of 1 versus 1. And the other cool thing about this is that you get to kind of see these teams, how they decided to build their decks. You know, you may have the Standard player and the Modern player kind of going the control route. You'll have the Legacy player going all in combo, or you'll have the other way, you know, maybe the Modern player's playing a Ironworks combo, everybody else is kind of playing some aggro. So you get to kind of see these weird deck choices and what they decided to as a team to go together to kind of give them the best odds of winning. That will be kicking off at 10 a.m. on Saturday and 10 a.m. on Sunday. There's no other Magic event where you get to watch Legacy, Modern, and Standard at the same day. And with Guilds of Ravnica kicking off, we're going to see Assassin's Trophy in Modern. You get to see a brand new Standard with Guilds of Ravnica. This is going to be a wonderful Magic viewing experience, and you should definitely tune in. I'll be watching as much as I can because, I don't know, it's always fun. It's fun getting to watch team events. Now, that's going to bring us to Magic Fest. If you didn't hear the news, long story short, Wizards of the Coast, they're going to rebrand Grand Prix as Magic Fest. I like this. This is a good idea. It's really hard to kind of... I've told people, hey, I'm going to a Magic Grand Prix this weekend. If they don't know anything about Magic, they think race car. Like, it doesn't really make sense to them. By changing the name to Magic Fest, it makes it a little bit easier to market it to people. They also said they're going to have a little bit of a heavy emphasis on side events, you know, cosplay, general spell slinging, basically putting the gathering back in Magic, which I'm really happy about that. When I got into Magic, I attended a lot of these tournaments, you know, Grand Prix, Star City Game events, strictly because that was kind of the way you kind of became somebody in Magic. And as time went on, these tournaments just weren't that fun, you know. But with them, like, as time has gone on, they've increased more side events. With them changing to Magic Fest, hopefully they're going to be focusing more on the experience of going to this weekend. Now, the main event will also be called Grand Prix, so that'll be the actual main tournament for the weekend. But for the most part, there's going to be a lot more side events. And the cool thing, it's also going to be home to the Pro Tour, starting with Pro Tour Cleveland. Now, the good thing about this is when we watch the Pro Tour, at least when I would watch the Pro Tour, there's not really an audience. There's not a lot of people watching. There's not people cheering. It has kind of this sterile environment about it. With them going and having it at Pro Tour, at Magic Fest, it's going to be a really cool, unique viewing experience. You get there, see some of your favorite pros. Hopefully they do some really cool interviews and different things like that. But I feel this is a good step for Magic tournaments, especially kind of branding them as, hey, if you're not a tournament grinder, still come to Magic Fest. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff for you to do, and hopefully they hit on that. Now, that's going to bring us to the Speakeasy Commander card of the weekend. That's going to be Hunter's Insight. I love this card. Green has access to card draw, but it's always kind of like it comes at, not a drawback, some sort of requirement you have to fill. And with Hunter's Insight, when you deal combat damage to a player, you get to draw that many cards. I love this card. I love running it in decks, and there's a lot of times where you're just swinging in with a little 5/5 creature, your opponent's not going to declare any blocks, and hit for a quick little Hunter's Insight and draw 5 cards. It's a wonderful way and a cheap way to draw cards in green. It works out in sort of a Gruul deck, especially if you're being really aggressive, and it's just a really good way to refuel your hand, especially in a deck like Omnath when you've got a ton of mana on the battlefield and you get a Trample and you get Hunter's Insight. Draw a lot of cards. Love it. It's one of my favorite cards. I think yeah, it's kind of when I got into Magic. That's when I started playing that card. I've been in love with it ever since. So put it into your deck. There's no better feeling than when one of your creature goes unblocked and you Hunter's Insight real quick and your opponent's like, dang it, okay, got it. Now that's going to bring us to the old school cool commander of the week, and that's going to be Zira. I played her during the EDH Lounge. We played a pre-modern lounge, and it was a lot of fun, but I played Zira. This is a lot of fun for a Jund commander. One of the cool things about her is that she's kind of like a sleeper commander. You get her down on the battlefield really quick on turn 3. She has a 3-colored activation, so a lot of the times people are kind of going to ignore her, just kind of put her on the back burner, so you can sit there turn after turn and just keep cashing in some really nice card draw. And you're also in Jund colors, which is the 2-for-1 special, so you're always wanting to get access to some sort of removal, whether it's a planeswalker, where it's some sort of enter the battlefield creature that gets you some tokens on the battlefield. She works great with untap ability, so you can get some extra card draw going off of that. And she's just a wonderful support commander. You're not restricted in your deck building in any sort of way. Her main ability is just, hey, draw a card, so you can kind of run a ton of control stuff. You can build a tribal deck. She just enables you to do so many different things, and at the same time, she's not going to draw a lot of heat from people at the table, and you can just sit back and just draw a ton of cards and then take over the game, which is exactly what you should do. Unfortunately, well, if you didn't see the lounge. Anyway, I drew through my deck. I got about 50 cards into my deck, and there was a blue deck at the table, and I think they only got about 70 cards into their deck, or 60 cards, so it's really nice to being able to just dig as deeply as possible into a Jund deck, because there's always some really nice answers that you're looking for. Now, that's going to bring us to the Evil Dead. My wife and I, we started doing this thing called Spooky Tuesday in October. It's where every Tuesday we're going to watch a spooky movie, and we're picking every other week. And my week this week, I chose The Evil Dead. I've heard a lot about this movie. I've never seen it before. We sat down and watched it, and I will say this: I love this movie. I'm not a huge fan of gore, or I don't like jump scare movies or paranormal movies, and so this was a really nice balance between kind of comedy. It wasn't like overly funny like Dale and Tucker, but it was still just a really nice viewing experience. If you haven't seen it before, long story short, starts off like every movie. There's 5 teenagers or college kids that go to a cabin in the woods. They go down in the basement, they find this like necromancer's book, and they start reading it, and it just kind of stirs up all this paranormal activity within the forest. You have some of the people starting to turn into demons. There's stuff outside. The forest starts attacking people. The thing to take away from this movie is it's not necessarily overly scary. There's just a lot of scenes where I'm just like, ooh, I kind of had to turn away for a second, or just scenes where you're just like, how did somebody think of this, to have this forest scene, or to think this, there's a pencil scene that's really just like, ooh, and there's also where somebody gets their eyeballs massaged, where I kind of had to turn away from that really quick. But highly recommend watching this movie. You haven't seen it before. It's always been, kind of presented as a cult classic, but it was a really good movie. I really enjoyed it. If you're looking for a fun October scary movie to watch, this is definitely your movie. It is a little gory, so if you're not a fan of gory, it's not overly gross. There's just a lot of blood sometimes, and it's not that scary, to be honest. But just wanted to give that little bit of a warning that if you're not a fan of blood, they do not go soft on the blood in the movie. But watch it. It's a lot of fun. I highly enjoyed it. Now that's going to bring us to the top 10, the most electrifying cards in Magic the Gathering. And let's start off with number 10, and that's going to be Power Surge, the Brian Braun-Duin card. I don't know, I came across that card, I was like, oh, looks like Brian right there. He's got the little goatee and the bald head, and I imagine that's what he does before you sit down to play a game with him. You just see electricity shooting out, so you know what's in store for you. And number 9 is going to be Laboratory Maniac. I love this card. I don't really run a lot of decks with Laboratory Maniac in there. I just love the card, and I just love the flavor of it. You can hear the electricity in the background, and he's getting ready to pull whatever that lever is. I don't know. I just love everything about this card. So since there wasn't a lot of electricity in there, that's why I did put it at number 9, but I had to put it on the list because I love that card so much. Number 8 is going to be Kolagon, Stormsinger. I could not stop thinking about building some sort of bard that whenever they start singing their songs, they just get the most electrifying effects, and it makes everybody really like pumped to go do whatever they're gonna do. And I just love that electric field around there. But yeah, I'll have to think about that. If I ever build a bard, I'll see if I can't build some sort of electrifying bard for Dungeons and Dragons. Number 7 is gonna be Psychic Membrane. don't know, there's a lot to take in on this card. You've got this weird kind of force field out in the ocean with a bunch of, I don't know, I came across this card and I was like, this needs to be in the top 10 list. I don't know where, but yeah, kind of got that orb going on in the middle. Really unique card. There's just sometimes where you just come across Magic cards and it's just like, okay, that is a Magic card. Number 6 is going to be Direct Current. It's got the 2 little Tesla coils right there. You got Rouse Eric over there just looking so happy like, haha, look what I've done. I don't know what they're powering them up for, but whatever they're doing with it, I can't wait to see that nice epic experiment. Number 5 is going to be Dynabolt Tower. I love this card, just like Laboratory Maniac. I don't get a chance to run into a lot of my commander decks, but I just love the flavor of it. You got this big tower in there. You've got this electricity, you can kind of feel it, the energy in the room, and I just love mad scientist vibes within Magic cards. It's kind of why I've been made the top 10 list, because I'm building Niv Mizzet, and I love the electricity in there, and I kind of love the I just love the mad scientist vibe that Izzet got this this particular Guilds of Ravnica set. It's kind of what made me do this top 10 list. Number 4. The Keanu Reeves card. Look at that. I don't know. That's me whenever somebody plays Scavenging Ooze against me. I'm always just get the little rune marks on my face, and I'm ready to punch Scavenging Ooze in the face. But yeah, it looks like a 90s Keanu Reeves movie or something, like a music video or something like that. I don't know. It's just kind of, and that's one of the fun things about Magic cards is, it's been around since the 90s. So you get some of this art that's very, very 90s. This is definitely one of those cards. A lot going on in that particular card. Number 3 is going to be Breakthrough. There's nothing more metal, nothing more epic than somebody standing on some rocks next to an ocean with electricity shooting out of the clouds from their hands into the clouds. This definitely deserves to be on the side of a van. Looks good. I'd put it on the side of my Magic van. Number 2 is going to be Sure Strike. You should always be as happy in your job as she is electrifying this person. I don't know why they're electrifying this person, but she looks absolutely thrilled to be doing that. So, hey, more power to you. If you love your job, you love your job. Number 1 is going to be Possibility Storm. I love this card. I got in during Return to Ravnica, and I brewed with this card a lot because I was just taken aback how weird this card was. It's the first time I'd seen one of the, crazy red rare for the set. And so, I don't know, I just loved it. I love the art in there, I love the skulls. Fun fact, I did not know Niv Mizzet was in the card art until I did this in-step thing. Back then, I knew the art was on there, but I didn't know that was Niv Mizzet. And so when I was getting the top 10 list ready, I was like, hey, that's Niv right there. Okay, never knew that. And that's what makes Magic fun sometimes, is you can look at a card for any number of years and not realize something was going on in the art. So, but that's going to be number 1 because I love just the red of it too. When they have red electricity, looks really good. But that's going to bring us to the end step. So there's a lot of fun Magic for you to watch this weekend. Also, with Guilds of Ravnica kicking off, we have new commanders to be built. In fact, if you're building a new commander, hop in the comments, let me know. I always like kind of reading about what sort of new deck building that you're going for, and tell me about some cool cards that you're running, because it's always good to look for some ideas for some of my new Guilds of Ravnica decks. But that's going to be it for the video, and if you enjoyed it, like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.